Chapter 920. Samson and the other big bosses of the casinos stood together chatting. From the way they saw it, Styles had no chance of losing at all. They were there to congratulate him. They also bet that Styles would win by a landslide. Logan, Gaston, and Christopher were guarding the entrance. They were in charge of sealing off the road and maintaining order. However, Logan and Gaston were no longer that friendly toward Christopher. In the past, they were the three greatest sanctuary-level cultivators of Aroma. They called each other brothers, with Styles as their leader. Styles had completely abandoned Christopher. Other than a bet of $10 billion, Christopher's life was also at stake. One could even say that Styles had already sentenced Christopher to death. Logan and Gaston need not be friendly to such a person anymore. Christopher stood there quietly, furrowing his brows tightly. After 2 days of anxiety and panic, he had calmed down already. Whether he lives or dies, it was all up to fate. In this world where survival of the fittest was the rule, he might be a sanctuary-level cultivator, but he was still helpless because there were others who were much stronger than him. It was finally noon. The discussion among the crowd got even more heated. At that moment, Wilbur appeared and slowly headed to the entrance of Mount Roma. As he passed by Samson, he swept him a glance. Samson furrowed his brows and said, "Mr. Penn, are you here to watch the fight too?" Samson was secretly sneering. After the fight, Wilbur's death was imminent. Wilbur said with a smile, "You can say so. I'll be taking part in it too." Charlie Gold, another boss of the casino, chuckled and said, "Buddy, this isn't something you can take part in. You youngsters are so overconfident." Wilbur smiled and headed forward. Samson said in a low voice, "There are 3 sanctuary-level cultivators ahead. I'll advise against trying to get it." "You're one to give me advice? Who the hell do you think you are?" Wilbur said curtly. Samson initially wanted to regain some respect, but he never thought that he would be mocked. He was so embarrassed that he did not know what to do. "Wilbur Penn, don't think that you can be so cocky just because you're a sanctuary-level cultivator. Do you know Styles Dune? He's a super sanctuary-level cultivator," Samson said angrily. Wilbur chuckled and said, "I'm looking for him." Samson was stunned. Charlie had a look of disbelief too. This young man before them was actually a sanctuary-level cultivator. Even so, he was just a sanctuary-level cultivator. Challenging Styles to a fight was just suicidal. By then, Wilbur had already headed forward. Edward and Jesse were also stunned to see him. Their gaze immediately darkened. When Wilbur saw them, he smiled. Edward said fiercely, "Dude, don't you dare be cocky. Just wait and see." "I'll be waiting," Wilbur replied without looking back. He arrived at the entrance to the road up the hill. "Stop right there. You are only allowed to watch the fight from down the hill," Logan said coldly. Christopher bowed and greeted, "Mr. Penn, you're here." Gaston frowned and asked Wilbur, "Who are you?" Right at this moment, a beam of light shot forth from the surface of the sea and landed right on top of the hill. A voice rumbled, "Where is Trevor Penn? Come and face your death. Mr. Dunes is here." Everyone was excited. They looked up at the top of the hill with admiration and adoration. Wilbur yelled, "Trevor Penn of Seachertown is right here." His voice boomed as loud as Styles, hurting everyone's eardrums. Wilbur flew up straight to the top of the hill. Everyone watching from below was instantly bewildered.